Thank you for joining me for today's edition of my legislative report. Today, we are here with the Secretary of the Department of Aging, Brian Duke. He is here to tell us about the mission of the Department of Aging and its importance in the Commonwealth. Secretary Duke was appointed by Governor Corbett in February of 2011. Prior to his nomination by the governor, he served as the director of the Bucks County Area Agency on Aging, and before that, as the executive director of the New Jersey Foundation for Aging. He has also worked with the U.S. Administration on Aging and the AARP Foundation. Secretary Duke, thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Secretary Duke, what does the Department of Aging do?
Pennsylvania Department of Aging is a cabinet-level position in Governor Corbett's administration. And the department is charged with enhancing the quality of life of older Pennsylvanians. Many of our services can be looked at as either services of prevention or protection. So for the members at home who would be watching, our services could include transportation services, could include home-delivered meals, protective services, congregate meal programs at the local senior center, the senior centers themselves, personal care services in the home. These are all probably examples. The PACE program, the Pharmaceutical Assistance Contract for the Elderly, a very popular program. All these programs are examples of the services we provide to our fellow citizens.
How many people work at the department?
We have about 91 employees that work there, and then we're also in partnership with 52 area agencies on aging across the Commonwealth, which serve all 67 counties.
And where does the department get its money from?
Well, 75% of our budget is from the Pennsylvania Lottery. 25% comes to us from the U.S. Administration on Aging and the Administration for Community Living, and the remainder comes from the Tobacco Settlement Fund. So we don't get any dollars from the general fund.
How large is the budget?
Well, our budget total comes to the Department of Aging about $498 million.
And how does lottery revenue affect the department?
Well, it's important. I mentioned 75% of our budget comes in, but we're grateful compared to other states that we have a lottery solely dedicated to older Pennsylvanians. That's a good thing. But the lottery revenue does help support most of our services.
A lot of constituents have been asking me the status of the governor's proposal to privatize the lottery. Can you give us an update on what's going on with that?
Sure, I can. First, just to explain, the reason we're doing it is we're the fourth greatest state in the nation. There's an increased demand that comes with that as we have a growing population of elders, and the revenue predictions from the lottery are not predictable year after year. So we entered into a private management agreement with Camelot in order to add predictability, but also hopefully to add growth to the Pennsylvania Lottery so we can continue to provide services to those we need to serve now, and we know an increased demand in the future. Right now, the governor is working on rewriting the contract to address areas of concern that were raised by the Attorney General, and then that contract will be resubmitted to the Attorney General for review, and that's part of the standard procurement process required by law for the state.
About how many people does the department help each year in the Commonwealth?
We like to say that we help almost, and I think we do help almost 1 million people, 1 million fellow Pennsylvanians. When you include every meal served and transportation that's provided, the pharmaceutical assistance contract for the elderly, the services we provide in somebody's home, they're all examples.
Is your department expected to grow?
Well, I think it'll grow in demand, right? We have an efficient ship. I don't see us adding a lot more staff or having the department grow in terms of infrastructure. We just had a campaign in March to begin a revitalization of the Department of Aging so that we pay attention to those core services that are necessary for Pennsylvanians. We just completed a 4-year plan that's going to provide us direction moving forward, so we're excited about that.
Are there any new programs on the horizon?
Well, I think the programs we'll be focusing on is we're going to have a focus on the Older Adult Protective Services Act. I mentioned that protection is a key aspect of what we do. Anyone who suspects any form of elder abuse should call their local office or area agency on aging and report it. It's a confidential report and people are protected through that. We're going to look at the existing legislation to make sure it's clarified and perhaps tightened up a bit, so make sure we stay true to that core mission of protecting our citizens. That's going to be a major area of concern as we move forward. And then looking at the core services of support that we provide, those social service supports that we provide, will be the other main area of emphasis.
What would you consider your most successful program?
I think all of our programs are successful. Of course, I'm a bit biased, but I think our pharmaceutical assistance contract for the elderly is a great program. We not only get access to prescription medications for our citizens who need it, but we monitor the prescriptions to make sure they're safe for the person that's receiving those medications. That's one program. I think our nutrition program is also a strong program in that we are able to serve so many through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania through either meals at our senior centers or home delivered meals. That's another great program. And I think our options program, where we assess needs and go in and develop a plan of care for an individual and provide services in the home, because if you ask our fellow citizens where they want to be in their home or their community, and that's very important.
How could someone detect elder abuse, and and how would they go about reporting abuse to older Pennsylvanians?
There's all kinds of signs of elder abuse, but I think, if it's somebody in a financial institution, we've seen an increase in financial exploitation. Somebody coming in to make a very large withdrawal that isn't customary to the usual banking pattern of that person. That would say to somebody, gee, maybe there's something that merits further discussion here with the individual. I think any sign of physical abuse that's seen, or somebody that may seem to be more prone to being upset more than they usually are, and maybe there's something going on emotionally or mentally in terms of abuse. Any of those signs, and what they should do is pick up the phone and call their local area agency on aging. That's the key thing to do.
How can someone get in contact with the department?
Our main number is 717-783-1550, or they can go on our website, www.aging.state.pa.
Great. And how are people able to communicate with your program, especially many older Pennsylvanians don't have the internet?
Well, telephone's key, and calling the local office on aging, which is usually going to be close to that individual's home. As I said, there's 52 offices serving 67 counties. They're going to be able to go to that office, probably meet with somebody face-to-face if they wish, to receive information. Each area agency has an information and referral service, and I think that's an outstanding way to connect, and they can do that over the telephone or in person.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, we just encourage all older Pennsylvanians and their families to know more about the Pennsylvania Department of Aging, and we thank you for this opportunity to tell people about our mission.
Thank you, Secretary. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That is all the time that we have for today. I would like to thank Secretary Duke for being here and providing information about the work of the Department of Aging. If you would like any more information, please contact my office. The contact information will appear on the screen in a moment. Thank you for watching, and please join me for my next legislative report.